Hello and welcome to the 2023 IU Southeast Baseball Media Day for the River States Conference. I'm Logan Stevens, joined by head coach Ben Rill and players Ben Dorinda and Trevor Campbell. Coach, I'm going to start with you. What are you looking forward to most as the season begins?
I think for this group to find their identity, I think that's always special to watch them kind of go through just a lot to learn about each player, or what he learns about himself, and what we learn, obviously, collectively. I'm excited to see him go through that. Obviously, a bunch of new blood, so they got a chance to carry the torch, which I think that's what is the most exciting, at least.
You talked about some new blood coming in. Obviously, you want to rely on some leadership from your veterans. Who are some of those returning players who you guys are going to rely on for leadership this year?
Obviously, Trevor Campbell, returning Conference Player of the Year. Ben Dorinda, who, I thought when we did this, I thought, we'll pick a pitcher, but I think Ben is the most versed in all the pitchers. He has to serve everybody. But these guys, these two specifically, I think are huge parts of our program. Ben's not really, in my mind, a catcher, and that's what I play. It's not really like a position player or a pitcher. You're kind of in the middle. You kind of combine everything. And Trevor's got versatility. He can play. He just has a lot of experience. He's played at a very high level his entire. Before going back to high school. But anyway, I'm excited to see some of our pitchers. Obviously, we've got Garrett Hill, Lane Osterling. Obviously, our bullpen that's been a three-headed snake, I think, with Cade Reynolds, Gavin Knust, and Connor Freeze. I think we're looking at, Reynolds had the best fall, I think, kind of by far out of all the pitchers. It was kind of a little bit of a sophomore slump last year, but coming back, he was, I think, overwhelmingly our best arm in the fall. But I think the older guys, I think they're just even keel. They have experience. They've seen a lot of things. At this, the heights of this program. They've literally taken this program to these heights. And I think it's going to. I think a lot of our older guys this year will actually not be seniors. I think they're going to have to be young guys that are kind of old souls. And these guys will be the best liaisons to that transition that we could really ask for.
You guys talk about that transition. A lot of younger players this year. Who are some of those newcomers that you expect to make an impact right away?
Well, I think any newcomer to me is a young player in our program. So, you got Cody Putnam, transferred from Jacksonville State. He's done a great job, kind of filling the middle infield role. We lost, obviously, Dante DiCello and Clay Weesty, which were like blood brothers here, he's done a great job for us. Mason White will be some much needed, I think, thump in our lineup, but he's got, versatility. He can play center field. He looks like he should be pretty much banished to a corner, but he's obviously extremely athletic, pro skill set. I think Gage Testerman had a great fall for me. He's very competitive, very fiery. It's very authentic and organic the way he goes about his business. He's like bored at practice. He's like ready to play. Obviously you got to practice the process first. But and some of our pitchers, we brought in some great young pitchers that I thought we were excited about in the fall. They made some, there's a transition, into this stuff. But I think overall, the majority of our roster is newcomers or honestly kind of like, I guess you could say freshmen. It's new to the program.
Night in and night out, you have something you preach to your team. What are a few of the things that you look forward to and that you guys need to do every night to be successful this year?
Stick together. Be a lot of adversity. I think that's. Nobody wants to hear a story without an antagonist. That's what makes a great story. So I think that's we definitely have a extremely demanding schedule. We've kind of occupied the throne of the conference for a good while now. I think, it's definitely, it is every year. You have to earn it. Rankings are cool. What we did is cool, but it's all about what we're about to do. But I think to do it, we got to stick together. It's not going to be, the hero here is the team. It's not going to play.
You talked about, you guys have been the top of the conference. It is a tough conference to play in. Like, how do you see the River State's conference shaping up this year?
It's going to be competitive. IU Kokomo's got some really, really good pieces. Point Park is, they're good. They're good every year. They're extremely competitive, and Lauren does a great job preparing his guys. Rio is always in a position where they can, last year they should have swept us. I think we walked away with 2 wins in the series, and I felt like we walked away, I felt like we got swept. We got the bus. I was happy to get home with sneaking 2 out, but they returned, a lot of their players. They got a big arm this year that was out. TJ last year was a projected draft guy. Midway, Luther does a great job. He's a blue blood. He's been doing this for a long time. His guys are very, very good in the end. I think that's a true mark of a great program. The postseason, how you perform at the end, obviously. But I think there's some new teams in our conference. Alice Lloyd being back is going to be exciting. Got a brand new facility. But I think, Ohio Christian, I think everything is elevated. Their new coach, he's competitive, which I love. It was fun to compete against them last year. I'm excited for their future. I think overall this year it's going to be a marathon. In some years it feels like it's very interval-ish. It's like start, stop, start, stop. I think this year there's actually 9 great weekends of competition.
I'll move some player questions now. Then I'll start with you. Just talk about your preseason so far. How do you feel like that's gone for your team?
I really think the preseason went really well. Like Real had said, we had a lot of new guys in, so at first it was a little weird. But I think the best way to describe it was exciting. Seeing some of the new guys and, seeing what they're capable of doing and replacing kind of what we lost.
Trevor, what are your guys' just expectations for this year going into the season?
Well, the expectation, we always want to win a national championship. That's why we do this. I think the biggest thing, though, is it's going to be a step-by-step thing. We can't get to that point if we don't win the conference. You know what I mean? So it's going to be going out every week, expecting the best out of our guys, expecting that energy level to be there, and we don't just want to win a national championship. Like I said, there's steps to get there. So we're going to have to win the regular season. We want to win the conference tournament, head to that regional, and take care of business in the regional, get to the national championship.
Actually, then back to you. Every team has strengths going into every single year. What are your guys' strengths going into this season?
I think, and I've been telling a lot of people this, I think our strength is our youth. Not knowing really the gravity of the situation might work to our advantage. And like I said in the previous question, just seeing what they're capable of doing is more of a strength than anything.
And last question, Trevor. You are a conference veteran at this point. What is it about this conference that makes it so tough game in and game out?
Yeah, everybody's super competitive, right? And Coach kind of touched on this a little bit. And new team coming in the conference. These conference weekends, there's a bit of a different energy. When you play these conference games, you're out there, pre-game, kind of thinking about the standings. You look at all that stuff before you can go out there. And those conference games bring a different type of energy, and everybody's more locked in, it seems like. And it's not that we're not locked in during the non-conference games, but it's just something about those conference weekends, conference nights, that it's big time for us. So we get excited about it.
This has been the 2023 IU Southeast Baseball Media Day for the River States Conference for Logan Stevens, Coach Ben Real, players Ben Berenda, and Trevor Campbell. Thank you guys for watching.